Barbara and Esther flew back from Stamford, Connecticut, and their flight was late leaving, and so they missed their connection. And Esther said, well, in the spirit of everything is always working out for us, this one's hard to figure out, because I would have thought if things were really working out for us, we would have made that connection. And then she thought, well, I'm still going to hold to the idea that things are always working out for us. And then they began playing with everyone in the airport who would play with them. The redcoat is telling them you're on time out because they were having such a good time. And then they got on a flight flying into San Antonio with a flight attendant who was, without question, the most remarkable and funny, not just funny, hilarious, not just hilarious, fall down and die funny, that they had ever met. The flight wasn't full. They were in the first class cabin. They had most of it to themselves, just a few random strangers who were not having anything to do with Peggy, because Peggy was just too silly for most people. But she was not too silly for Barbara and Esther, and she proceeded to entertain them in ways that we cannot even begin to explain to you. Until for the 3-hour flight, Esther and Barbara laughed nonstop until they were hurting. And even people who were having none of Peggy are now laughing because they are egging her on. Esther said, I would have missed 15 flights to rendezvous with this comedian. So now Peggy is telling them everything about every passenger on the airplane, which is completely unprofessional, but really, really funny. And there's a man back there who really needs to have an air marshal come and take him off the plane. But Peggy doesn't like the inconvenience of that. And she's pretty sure that that kind of language doesn't rise to the level of returning to Atlanta. And Esther and Barbara are agreeing with her. And so she's just reporting in on what's going on. Esther offered to go back and sit with the man if it would help, but it turned out it was not necessary. And then Peggy is referring to the old people over there and the old people over there and the old people over there. And Esther said, you might kind of want to stop that, because that's going to come back and bite you in the butt one day, because we're all moving through time. And then Peggy was having such a good time entertaining all of them that she forgot to give the in-flight announcements. And so Esther said, please bring your tray tables and seats to the upright position. And a man who was not having anything to do with Peggy said to her, you might want to take your seat. And she said, do you see treetops? And he said, yes, I do. And then Peggy realized that not only had she not given any of the announcements, her kitchen was still all open. So she is closing doors. Oh shit, 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 oh shit. And then Barbara and Esther see her fly across the walkway and into her seat just as the plane lands. And Esther said, here's my card, Peggy. Call me when they fire you, and they will fire you. Because there was an airline captain sitting on the front row, pretending to be asleep, but taking all of it in. And Barbara and Esther felt utterly responsible because they had evoked every bit of every bit of every bit of every bit. Peggy said, they keep drug testing me. I don't know why. And Esther said, I think that cucumber and tomato diet you're on is fermenting in your stomach and turning to alcohol or something. It could be something like that. So, would you have wanted to miss something like that? Wouldn't you have been willing to roam around the Atlanta airport for an extra hour so that you could rendezvous with something that you will never forget as long as you live, that will be a source of vortex entry and hanging in there? Esther has entertained herself with that hours on end, not wanting to forget one precious morsel of information that Peggy delivered to them in her innocence, in her certifiable innocence, in her willingness to play with passengers in an environment where you usually don't get that much fun from flight attendants. So we're just saying that if you begin to watch for the manifestations that are occurring, Esther and Barbara know we could not have been in a better place, because you can't have that kind of experience if you're not in a really good place. And there are many who would say, but Abraham, I thought we were creating empires. I thought we were creating movements. I thought we were creating big things. I thought we were creating more important things. And we say, nothing is more important than the manifested reflection of the genius and the power and the clarity and the love of who you are. In other words, manifestation right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. Reflecting back what? Reflecting back your relationship with who you really are and nothing more. So when you get it, that you have control over your relationship with the vortex, then you get it that you have control over everything. The cells of your body, your economic relationship with economy, your relationship with everyone, your relationship with everyone and everything, every manifestation, large or small. And we want to say, there aren't large or small ones. There's just now giving you feedback, now giving you feedback, now giving you feedback. We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing off limits. We want you to know that whether you are called forward to the hot seat where we will dialogue with you personally, or whether you are sitting out there just having your vibrational moment, that you will hear, to the degree that you are in relationship to your vortex, everything that we know about that. This gathering has assembled before you dragged your physical bodies here, or before you logged in online. In other words, there are thousands of us participating here in physical form, and we cannot even begin to give you the numbers of non-physical energy that is participating with you here. We want you to know that this cooperative experience of co-creation at its best will reveal to you a number of things. First, it's going to show you firsthand your relationship with the vortex. You're going to have an experience sitting wherever you're sitting on the planet, where something that is important to you is going to be discussed in a way and in a fullness that you will understand it completely. And you got to know it's your manifestation. In other words, what's happening here in this gathering is your manifestation. It's not being orchestrated because we know stuff, we do, that we think you would like to know, we do. It's that you are summoning, and to the degree that you are in relationship with your vortex, you're going to receive clarity, full understanding of all kinds of wonderful things. And together it is our promise to you that we will take thought beyond that which it has been before, which is what is exhilarating to all of us. Over time, people have said to Jerry and Esther, oh, you need to get out there, you need to expand, you need to make this more available to more people. And they say, yeah. But what we really are interested in is a gathering like this, where people can participate from all around the planet, who can bring the clarity of what they want to know vibrationally to the forum. And we can together expand this understanding of deliberate creation, of living happily ever after, of joyous manifestation. So, what's up? What do you want to talk about? You have things. It's going to be a very good day. Relax, feel no frustration if we don't call you forward soon or ever. Know that it will unfold perfectly. Let's begin right here. Wait. Wait. You are the one. Start walking, and if it's not you, nope. As it unfolds, you'll understand what that was all about. That is tape to the floor.